Hello and welcome to episode 27 of the Bittersweet Uncompyness Podcast. It's been 6 weeks since the last time I released an episode. And to be honest, I needed this time for myself. I needed this time to come back to my senses, or let's call it a reflection phase. I needed to understand where my journey is heading, where I want to be, where I want to go, who I want to be. And I knew that before, but you can always change your life or change the way you want to do certain things. And in order to figure out a plan, I needed some time off entirely. So I wasn't on social media much. I wasn't doing anything. And especially with the transition into 2023, I took this time to build myself up and to acquire new knowledge, work on myself internally, so I wasn't sharing much externally. And for the people who love or to listen to this podcast, I apologize and I hope you understand, but I'm pretty sure you do, because I'm sure you went through something like this, or you're going through something like this. And this episode is basically going to be very personal, and I'm going to be talking about the process and a couple of things that I have learned over the last 6 weeks. So before we start, as usual, I hope you're not comfortable. But if you are, then let's get uncomfortable together. So hi, and welcome back. It's been a while, but I feel like I did the last episode yesterday because time is flying. And at the same time, somehow I feel like it's been ages, So time is very funny. And I'm not going to dive into that. That's going to be a whole episode by itself if I start talking about time and the perception of time and how time is flying and continuously moving. As you can see, I can start blabbering on, so I'm going to stop myself right there. What I want to talk about in this episode is feeling lost or feeling stuck is a normal thing. We need to understand that it's okay to be lost or stuck. Of course, to a certain degree, and I'm going to be talking about this in an episode, but we now have demonized the idea of being stuck or the idea of being lost. But I always like to think about life as a duel. So you cannot be found, or you cannot find yourself if you've never lost yourself. Please don't mind the loud cars or motorcycles or whatever. I'm in Dubai right now and the cars are insanely loud. Like, I closed everything, but it still feels like I'm in the street with the cars. So if you hear the cars, just blend them out like you do in a meditation or whatever, and just focus on my sound. So yeah, we have demonized the idea of being lost or being stuck, but you can't have one without having the other. So you can't find yourself and love yourself and appreciate yourself and be grateful for life if you haven't gone through a phase of being lost or stuck or whatever. So I'm not saying embrace it. I'm not saying it's cool or hip to be lost or confused. I'm just saying that it's normal, especially in today's life, in today's fast-paced life. We can lose ourselves incredibly quickly because we have so many distractions at the tip of our fingers, and we have so many ideas flying at us the entire day. So every time you open your phone, you go on social media and you just scroll a little bit, an incredible amount of shit just pops up, and your brain starts to process everything and starts feeling like, okay, I'm lacking, I'm behind, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that, this person's doing better than me, this person is where I want to be, or look at this person doing this dumb shit. So we immediately go into judging ourselves and judging others as a defense mechanism to make ourselves look better. And through this cycle, without even noticing it, we start losing ourselves in all this. We start forgetting who we are, or what we want to do, or what our real purpose is. And in order to avoid that, we need to be very aligned with our purpose. We need to be very aligned with our vision and with our values and with ourselves. So I took this time off exactly and precisely to do this, because as I shared in the last episode, I recently became a life coach and I'm coaching now. And I'm realizing that this is something that everyone goes through. Even life coaches goes through a phase of feeling stuck or lost. Just because somebody is a life coach, or somebody is a therapist, or somebody is a monk, that doesn't mean that they have shit figured out. That has nothing to do with that. On paper, you can know what to do. As a personal trainer, you know what to do. But when you come to apply it to your own life, that's when it gets tricky. So finding the discipline starts by understanding and internalizing your purpose, your values, and your beliefs about yourself. So I'm going to just give you a quick update about my situation, what changed for me over the last couple of weeks. And then I'm going to talk about the couple of things that I learned through going through that in the last couple of weeks. So, as I said, I became a life coach. I am now coaching. So if you're interested, make sure to visit my Instagram. You can go on the link in my bio and book a free first call where we just have a chat and we try to assess whether a coaching journey would make sense or not. My coaching business has a very cool name, and it's called Road to Happiness. Happiness written with a Y instead of an I, like in the movie Pursuit of Happiness. I just love the way the word looks with a Y instead of an I. So Road to Happiness is a coaching program where we go through many different things in life. We try to plan out the future, but we also focus on finding purpose, finding passion, and finding alignment in everyday life. The second thing that happened is a phase of confusion of where my journey is heading. Because as I said, I became a life coach and I stopped my studies at university. I was studying business administration and I realized that this is not something that I'm interested in at all. So I needed to stop that. I didn't want to continue, and the voices got loud in my head again. Like, okay, Joe, you're a life coach now. That's awesome. But what's next? What am I going to do more? Or what is my plan? Just where am I heading, right? And I felt like I wasn't being productive in my environment anymore, which is very weird because I was very happy because I was surrounded by everyone that I love. So I was in my comfort zone, and I realized that I am the least productive when I'm very comfortable. So my productivity peaks when a deadline is approaching, and I don't want to depend on outside external pressures for my productivity. So I needed to understand, okay, how can I be productive, and what steps can I take in order to work on myself and my discipline, my productivity. So I went back to going to the gym very regularly. So I'm taking care of my physical health and my physical fitness like I've never done before. And I believe I'm now close to being in the best shape of my life. And that's a very nice thing to do for yourself. So when you feel like you're confused or you're stuck or you feel like you're not productive or disciplined or moving forward, the number one thing to do is go and take care of your physical fitness. Go and take care of your physical health, because your mental health will follow. As soon as you start seeing those results in the gym, or you start seeing the results in productivity, because once you are going to the gym regularly or taking care of your body, you start being more productive because you start having more energy. So it all comes together somehow. Once you are intact and in motion, you are creating this energy within you to do more and to want more and to be excited about new things. Like at the beginning, you're not excited to go to the gym. Nobody wants to go to the gym at the beginning because you know the process, you know it's painful, you know it's time consuming, you know that you're not going to be able to train the way you desire to because you probably lost some weight or you gained too much weight and you're not going to be able to run as much as you used to run before or bench the same kilos that you used to bench before. And this is a process that you need to overcome because in order to be back at your best, you need to start somewhere again. So this is what I did for myself because I neglected my physical fitness for a while. And I was focused on so many different things and I completely put that aside. And I forgot the importance of getting that in order. Since I'm back regularly, working out regularly, eating healthier, everything is changing. Everything is falling into place. My productivity is coming back. So going back to the environment, I felt unproductive. I didn't feel like I was able to perform at my highest level. So what I did is I packed my bags and I booked a one-way ticket to Dubai. And right now I am couch surfing here in Dubai at my cousin's place, who's very, very kind to let me stay with him for, he said, as long as I need. So I'm probably going to take advantage of that and stay as long as I need indeed. So let's see how that goes. But I'm here also to focus on myself, isolated from all my other responsibilities that I might have had back in Vienna. And when I first talked to everyone about this idea of me just moving for a while, the idea came up of, hey Joe, are you running away from your responsibilities? And if you put it that way, it sounds harsh. It sounds like I am giving up or I'm losing or I don't know, basically just failing at my responsibilities. But for me, as soon as I thought about it a bit deeper and I reflected upon it, I realized that I'm not running away from my responsibilities. My responsibilities are things that were passed on to me 10 years ago. When we moved to Vienna, I had new responsibilities that I didn't have before. And then when my parents got a divorce, I had new responsibilities that I didn't have before. So I believe I did a very good job handling my responsibilities up to a certain extent. But now, for the first time in my life, I am making myself my number one responsibility. I'm making my well-being and my vision and my purpose my number one responsibility. And externally, it might look like I'm being selfish, but people who know me know that I am a very selfless person. I love to give way more than I love to receive. And this didn't change. But now I'm giving to myself. Selflessly. I'm giving to myself because I know that once I am where I want to be or who I want to be, I will be able to go back to give people more. And there's this beautiful thing that you can see on social media or sometimes I hear in podcasts is you cannot give others if your bottle is not full. So this is a water bottle. This is a water bottle, right? Right now it's pretty empty. And if I give this amount to 10 people, each of them will drink a little bit. So what I want to do right now is I want to fill up this bottle to a level where it overflows. And when it overflows, it goes down and it's filling up a huge bowl where a lot of people can drink from. But meanwhile, my bottle is full. And this is my goal for now. It's filling up my bottle in order to be able to give more out without harming myself. So, to sum it all up, making yourself your number one responsibility is not selfish, because you cannot give to others what you don't have for yourself. So fill up your own bottle. Make sure that you build yourself up to a level where you can then help everyone around you in ways that don't harm you. And so basically, over the last 6 weeks, this is the struggle I was going through. Now I'm here since a week, a bit over a week. No, actually today it's a week exactly. I landed exactly 1 week ago, and it took me some time to settle. It took me some time to get a rhythm, get a feel again, but I'm very happy. I'm doing very okay. So now I want to share what I learned in the last 6 weeks through going through that stuck stage or confusion state. So number one is, as I said multiple times in this episode, and you might not want to hear it again, but I'm still going to share it anyways. Feeling lost is okay sometimes. Not everyone can have everything figured out or under control the whole time. Sometimes we fall off the wagon, and that's fine, because we're only human. And we will make mistakes. We will have setbacks. We will face challenges. That's what makes life exciting. That's the challenge that we get to have every time and then come out the other side stronger than before. So when you feel lost, forget what social media is telling you. Forget what everyone is telling you. And I'm a life coach. I literally try to tell people, like, don't be stuck. And if you want to get unstuck, come and have coaching with me. But being stuck means that if you work on yourself, you can overcome this and have something to enjoy and something to celebrate for yourself. So it's fine. It's okay. Don't get anxious about it. This is the thing. I never allowed myself to feel any anxiety because I felt like I was lost or confused. Because anxiety doesn't help me, doesn't serve me in any way. Every time I realized, okay, a bit of anxiety is kicking in, and the way you know that you're anxious about something is your breathing becomes very shallow. So you start breathing only in your chest, not in your stomach anymore. No deep breaths anymore. You start getting anxious, and then the fucked up thoughts just come flooding in your head, becoming extremely loud. So every time I realize, okay, my breathing is not fine, thoughts are starting to come, because now I like to observe my thoughts more than identify with my thoughts. So I feel that, and I immediately tell myself, okay, Joe, we are in a lost state. We are confused, but this is temporary. And you know why it's temporary? And this brings me to point number 2. Because once you're aware of the fact that you're lost or stuck, you're already at step 1 of getting yourself out of there. So step 1 of getting unstuck or getting out of your confusion is, in fact, being aware that you're in that phase. Being aware that it's a phase to begin with, that it's temporary, that with a bit of self-work, inward work, you can get out of that. There is nothing in the world that will keep you stuck forever if you work on yourself. Literally nothing. What working on yourself means is actually going inside and trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. I don't mean it in a bad way. Not going in and being very harsh on yourself, like, hey, why you're like this? You're a failure. I knew you wouldn't manage to do that, or whatever. Because once you start talking to yourself like that, Ain't no way you're coming out of it. Because after you finish the self-talk, you're gonna be a bit lower down than you were before the talk. This negative motivation bullshit, it works, but not when you do it on yourself. Because what you're doing is you're breaking yourself down. And once you start breaking yourself down, holy shit, it's gonna be painful. Because when other people try to break you down, if you have your own back, it doesn't matter. You're gonna bounce back. Or you're not gonna even be insulted. But once you start insulting yourself, once you start hating yourself, you build this resentment and you start to lose your self-belief. You start to lose your self-worth. So take a step back, realize that you're lost, understand that it's okay and that it's gonna be temporary because you're gonna work on yourself with Life Coach Joe or without Life Coach Joe, doesn't matter, but preferably with. Go sign up now. You can have a free call with me for 60 minutes. And yeah, so the first step is realizing that you're lost or whatever, because only then can you understand, okay, what steps do I need to take? You go inside, you go inwards, and you start working with yourself on understanding why you're here. And then the steps literally just show you themselves afterwards. Once you start asking yourself the right questions, the steps of getting out of it just start presenting themselves. You wake up one day and you're like, oh, a new idea. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's meditate on this. Let's, I don't know, go for a run and think about stuff. Let's listen to a podcast. Let's go for a run. Let's have a coaching session with Joe. Okay, I'm seriously not pitching it for real, but if you want to have a session, it's fine. Like, I'll give you a good price. The first session is for free. Okay. I'm not that kind of person. This is just all jokes and sarcasm. So don't take it up your butt, is all I'm trying to say. Point 3 is, and this is probably the biggest one, is sometimes the right thing to do is the hardest thing to do. And it's not only sometimes, it's very often. The right choices are often the hardest choices, but we don't want to make them, even though we know they're right, because we're afraid of what's going to come through them, of the obstacles that are going to come, of the challenges that are going to come. But without going through them, we will not come out the other side. We will not be where we want to be. For me, coming to Dubai was not an easy decision. It was not an easy decision. I wanted to come here, but I know that I have everything I love back home. Everything. Every person I love, my dog, my life, everything. Really everything. The streets, my home. But I needed to. And when I booked my ticket, I booked it with no second thoughts. I booked it 2 months in advance to prepare myself. I said, at least. And up until, I think, 2 days before my travels, I didn't even realize that I'm traveling. But then the people around me started to want to say goodbye, and this is the last time I'm gonna see you, this is whatever. And then it hit me. I was like, fuck, I'm actually doing this. I'm actually going through with this. And I think a lot of people didn't expect me to actually follow through and travel, but I always knew that I will, even though it was a very hard choice. So sometimes the right thing to do is the hardest thing to do, but it's necessary to do it. And you need to deal with the consequences that come afterwards. The journey might be long. The fight might be a long one. You might go 12 rounds in order to win. But you need to be prepared, and you need to be willing to go for it. And in order to do that, you need to really, really know what your purpose is, which circles back to purpose and values. I knew what my purpose was. I knew what my values were or are. And I know that this is something that I really, really, really want for myself. So I'm willing to do whatever it takes. No matter how many times I get punched in the face, I'm still gonna go after it, because this is what I want. This is who I am, and this is who I want to become. Okay, that was very intense at the end. Nice. Point number 4 is self-worth is derived by our actions and not by other people's words or even by our own words. So a lot of people, including me, talk about affirmations, talk about talking to yourself in the mirror, talk about meditation and believing that you're awesome. And I still believe that. Standing in front of the mirror and saying that you're awesome is really cool. But if you don't believe it about yourself, every time you say it, it's going to have the opposite effect. It's going to be like, the voice in your head's immediately going to be like, who are you shitting? Like, who are you trying to fool? You know, deep inside, I know I'm not awesome. And then I'm just blabbering out loud that I'm awesome. That doesn't work this way. Even if you go with your fist and be like, I'm awesome, the voice in your head is going to be like, you're full of shit. That's at least how I believe it is, right? So by affirmations, you can help the process, but you need to believe it first, at least slightly. And in order to have a higher self-worth, you need to derive it or get it by taking actions. When you make yourself proud of yourself, when you do something where you feel accomplishment, your self-worth immediately takes a bit of an increase. It's like some, upward kind of graph. As soon as you do something towards your vision or in alignment with your purpose, that's when you get a bit of a dopamine hit and also your self-worth increases. So instead of standing in front of the mirror every day for 10 minutes and saying, I'm awesome, I'm awesome, I'm awesome, I'm awesome, get your ass to the gym. And after you finish that training, look at yourself in the mirror and say, I'm awesome because I did that. Because I went to the gym when I didn't feel like it. That's how you increase your self-worth. When you know that you need to write a paper, but you're not really motivated, but you do it anyways, and it turns out to be amazing, that's when you're going to be proud of yourself and your self-worth will increase. Therefore, your confidence will also get a boost. So you need to prove to yourself what your self-worth is, not to others. Fuck everyone. I mean, you still need, social interactions. And of course, we have this need to fit in the tribe. But when it comes to your confidence and your self-worth, you get that shit from yourself. You don't get it from the approval of everyone around you standing around and just, clapping for you. And this is something that Eminem said in one of his songs, Beautiful, where he says, I don't want any manservant following me around and wiping my ass and laughing at every joke I crack. So you don't need that. You need yourself. Really, guys, I'm telling you, putting yourself at the top of your priority list, no matter who you love, is important. I have a person in my life and I really, really, really respect him because he once looked his sister dead in the eye and told her, I'm never gonna love you more than I love myself. And I don't mean it in a bad way. I fucking adore you. I would die for you. But I will never love you more than I love myself. Now, if you're listening to this, you're like, what a selfish bastard. But no, that's not true. Who do you have with you every single moment of every single day? You. So you need to love the person you spend the most time with the most. Otherwise, you're going to have conflicts. Otherwise, you're going to be dependent on other people. When you're in a beautiful relationship, you don't want to be alone anymore. You get very clingy and you start want to be with your better half, as you call it. Your better half. I want to be with my better half the entire time. But what about you? You're actually complete. You don't need a better half. You don't need any half. In fact, it's an addition to you. But you should be complete. You should love yourself more than you love others. Because if you don't love yourself, forget it. You're not going to be able to love anyone correctly. You're going to think you're going to love someone and you think you're giving them what they need, but you're not. You're literally not. So make yourself proud by your actions, not by your words. Your self-worth will increase, and therefore your affirmations might work better. So stand in front of the mirror and go, I'm awesome, I'm awesome, I'm awesome. Nobody can touch me, nobody can touch me, nobody can touch me. But prove to yourself that you're awesome. And you can only do that by doing tough shit. Everyone can do the easy bits. Everyone can do the easy bits. But once it comes to the hard shit, that's what's going to make you stronger, more confident, and value yourself more, love yourself more, and respect yourself more. Number 5, and this is the last point for today because I actually wanted to do like a 15-minute episode, but I doubled the time already. But I'm so into it. So if you're still listening, thank you so much, because I feel like I'm blabbering. But it's actually very good content so far. Wouldn't you agree? You can just leave a comment telling me that you agree and then go book a call for a coaching. You know, there's people who always bring up their sponsors like, before I continue, this is Air Up, my favorite water bottle in the whole entire world. It's true, actually. I love this brand because I never used to drink normal water. I used to always need like a syrup or something to drink it. But now I just love drinking pure water. And yeah, so you have this pod basically. This is peach flavor. So when you're drinking, it's as if you're drinking a peach iced tea, but you're actually just drinking plain water. Awesome invention. Highly recommended. I'm not sponsored by them yet, but love it. Check it out. Link will not be in my description. Okay, so point number 5 is everyone thinks they know better. And the reason is very simple. Because everyone knows only their perspective. Or most of the times, only their perspective. So they think that it's the valid perspective. I have that in my family. It's not narcissism. It's not egoistic. It's normal. Because everyone sees the world through a different set of eyes. And everyone has a different opinion on things. So when you tell someone about something you want to do or something that you love or something that you think is cool, they might have the complete opposite opinion. It's okay. And it's not my job to try to force you into seeing my perspective. I will tell you mine and I will listen to yours. But I'm not gonna argue or discuss with you, because what do I have to gain if you take on my perspective? Literally nothing, because I don't even believe that my perspectives are right. There is no right or wrong when it comes to this. There is my perception, your perception. That's okay. Imagine a world where everyone agreed on everything. Very fucking boring, right? So everyone thinks they know better, and everyone will try to help you by trying to tell you what to do and what not to do. The people who actually care about you are the ones who are going to do that the most, because they think that they can help you prevent some pain along the way, help you make better decisions, make you happier, save you some trouble. They wouldn't do that. They wouldn't try to help you if they didn't love you. Point blank. People who don't love you will not try to help you, but rather criticize you head on and be like, what you're doing is shit. People who love you would go with a different approach, like, why don't you try this or why don't you do that? That's totally good. That's fine. I need that. I have that in my circle more than you can imagine. I think no one supports an idea I have immediately. No one. All of them like to add their spices on that and do this and do that. No, don't do this. No, don't do that. But at the end of the day, I make the choices. You know why? Because I'm the CEO of my own life. And as a CEO, when your employees or other partners come to you and tell you, you should do this, you should do that, I want you to do this, I want you to do that. Don't do that. As a CEO, you'll say, yeah, whatever. And at the end of the day, you're going to put into action what you wanted, and they will have to accept it. And they will accept it because you're the fucking boss. And I'm not saying stand there or sit on your throne and don't listen to anyone and be like, fuck y'all, I'm the boss. No, you're the boss of your own life. You're not the boss of the people around you. You're the boss of your own life. So when you take a decision, while somebody else told you, don't do that because blah, 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 you need to be fully aware and prepared that if you fail, they're going to come to you and tell you, I told you so. You need to be able to live with that. You need to. If you want to take your own decisions, you need to be prepared for the consequences of your decisions, no matter what they are. So, of course, I always hesitate. When someone tells me, do this instead or do that instead, I always hesitate. I have this moment where like, maybe they're right, maybe I'm wrong. What if they're right? What if I follow what I want to do and at the end, their advice would have worked out better? I have that, and it's normal. But I don't take the decision immediately. I go back and I think about both perspectives, and most of the times, you're going to laugh, but I take something out of the thing that the person said. So I can add some more value on my perspective through other people's perspectives. But this is something, this is a skill that you can learn to filter what you need from other people's perspectives. But at the end of the day, you're the author of your book and you decide what you want to write, which chapter you want to start, and which chapter you want to end. And by that, I will end today's episode. So thank you very, very much for listening to this episode. I feel like this was an incredible episode for me because I was able to share the things that have been on my mind for so long now. And I love just doing this podcast, and I realized this now after blabbering on for 37 minutes that my life literally is much better when I'm recording an episode or when I'm back actively on the podcast, because I just really, really love to do this. And for a while there, I got a bit outcome orientated, and I started looking at the results, and I saw that it wasn't where I would have thought it would be. But then again, when you set yourself expectations, you're setting yourself up to failure, because very often expectations will go unmet. They might be exceeded or they might not be met, but my expectations were different, and I'm honest about it. I got sucked into this loop of numbers, checking the engagement rate and whatever and whatnot, and I'm not going to do that anymore. The reason I started this podcast is for me and for every single person who likes to listen to this episode. So if there's one person listening and this person actually made it to minute 39, thank you very much and congratulations, because you're now my best friend. If you like this episode, as usual, like, share, comment, subscribe, go on Instagram and follow me there, go on TikTok and follow me there, go on, do I have any other platforms? Yeah, go on Medium. I'm writing some blog posts every once in a while. That's not like a regular thing. And as I said, the coaching business is up and running. If you know someone who might benefit from a coaching program or a journey, I'm your man. I love this, and I love just being there for people. It's always been my thing. And as I said, now I'm being there for myself, but that does not mean that I cannot be there for other people as well. Yeah, that's a very long outro. Thank you all, and I love you very, very much. I'll see you again, hopefully, next week.